What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. I'm your host, James Clifton, and I'm here today with the bold one, Gary Bennett.
The Oracle.
Yes, exactly. Yes, your magic ball. We are going to be talking today about the PSG game yesterday, and I just want to say,
take a bow.
You have done us proud. Before that game, I think we were all fearing the worst, especially when we heard there was no Ollie Watkins, no Emi Martinez, no Ezri Konsa. Garnacho is out due to concussion protocol. There's obviously no Onana. We've sold Tielemans. We've sold Rodgers. We've sold Luka Dean. And, mate, we go toe-to-toe with the best in the world.
Well, mate, are you surprised? You know, I think in
I genuinely am. I genuinely am surprised because when you look at that lineup, yes, okay, back four, the same back four, like pretty much that we know. Bizot, a very competent goalkeeper. You don't know how Joao Gomez and Kamara is going to gel. They've played one game or 60 minutes together or something like that. You don't know who's going to provide that attacking kind of creativity. Buendia played well, but then it's just that front four. I was just like, God.
Well, I get it, mate, but I think we have to. This is where we don't give Unai Emery enough credit because we think about it from a personal thing. We think about those things you just said. I think with any other manager or any other, team, there may be, but it just reassures me that it's all part of the master plan, right? It's not ideal, obviously, losing the players that we've lost. It's not, right? And so you start to think, are we going to be able to turn up? And that's what we've been saying over the last week or so, right? Can these players actually play at this level? Now, it's a pre-season friendly, and yes, PSG didn't start with their full starting 11, but neither did we. But they still had a fair mix of them, mate. You had Mendes and Vitinha and Doué and all, and these players that are world-class players, mate. Yeah, mate, and he's not played a minute of football over the World Cup, so fresh as a daisy. He's finished, by the way. We'll get on to
honestly, I mean, anyone. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But it was, can the young players that are going to get a chance? I was buzzing that Madjo got the nod to start. I thought,
me too.
That's exciting. Now go out there and show the world that you can play at this level, and that's exactly what he did. And I think we should focus on him and George Hemmings in particular because, they are, Hemmings is an academy product, but Madjo is, I think he's just a different. Mate. He's different. He's a different beast, mate. I know it's only been pre-season, but what is it? 7 goals in, in pre-season, or 5 goals in 7 games. I think it is.
Yeah.
And he's, I said to you,
he bullied them.
Yeah, mate.
Like, literally, that one where he literally. I mean, obviously the goal, he just wrestled him off him. He would have been a foul anyway if he hadn't scored it, I think. And then there was earlier in the game where he was running through, and once again the defender just bounced off him.
Mate, it's seriously impressive for a kid of 17 to have that kind of strength against fully grown professional athletes. Right, I don't care who's playing against him. Like, even when he scored, Matson comes up to push him. Right,
yeah, he's just like,
Matson's like. He's like Ivan Drago, mate.
It was ridiculous when you saw him on the pitch. Because Jess was watching and she was like, "Who's that bloke at the back for you?" I'm like, "No, he's up front." And she was like, "He's huge." I was like, "Yeah, he's 17." I was like, imagine meeting that in the streets. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, mate. I think there's I said to you, the potential for him is massive. I think there's only Haaland that plays in that kind of way, that bullies defenders, that can wrestle them off. But he offers so much more than that. Like, I think if you watched him yesterday, he showed a maturity for me. Both him and Hemmings showed a level of maturity in that game, positionally and tactically, to really hurt PSG.
I thought his hold-up playing when he was coming deep and laying off, some of it wasn't coming off. Like, totally get that, and some of it wasn't quite as crisp as it could be. But some of it was really nice. When the ball went into him, he just laid it off to Hemmings, and Hemmings ran through. I was like, that's a lovely link up between the two. And mate, his movement's so good, and that's why I was sitting there and you got people in our, and we sitting there going, "Oh, I should have scored that" and stuff. But I'm sitting there going, but he's getting the chances, and the reason he's getting the chances is because his movement was so good.
Well, exactly, mate. Look, if he was 31 years old and missing chances for fun, right, like a certain...
I was about to say, let's face it. We need to address the fact that if this was Ollie Watkins, we would be having a very different conversation.
Yeah.
At this point,
mate, you can't critique a 17-year-old kid for creating 5 chances against arguably the best team in world football and taking one. Now, obviously, he's got to develop, and that ratio has to get better. Like in another day, he should score a hat-trick. But my word, mate, like PSG looked scared of him to a point where they had to kind of change the way they played and make substitutions at half-time to make sure that we could... And to be fair to him, on 70 minutes, he looked absolutely battered. Like I think he'd put in an absolute shift, right? Yeah. And, but again, it's just so encouraging for the season ahead. I don't think the Premier League is going to know what's hitting, mate. I really hope he gets a fat chunk of minutes. I assume... I read that Jacob Tansel said this morning that Ollie apparently rang Emery and said, I'm ready to come back. And Emery said, no, take the time. We need you back fit for the start of the season. But I think he's probably said that because he's like, mate, we're all right. We've got
Don't worry.
17-year-old kid.
Like, because he's all good.
Like, let's face it. Like, maybe Ollie would have scored one of the headers, right? Maybe, like, if he'd have been in the position.
That second one, particularly.
Yeah. He just mistimes the jump, mate. Look, he should score. And if this was Ollie Watkins, I'd be going mad. But I'm not going to critique a 17-year-old kid in a pre-season friendly when his looks, his overall play, and the goal again, mate. Similar to the Warsaw goal.
Yes,
he's got no right to hold that defender off. It's the hardest chance. Not only hold him off, so it's a bit like I can imagine training, right? That they get Emi Buendia and put him on the back of Madjo and go, right, just put balls in. He's got to finish with Emi on his back, right? So Emi's like a weight bag, right? Do you know what I mean? And he's just doing that for fun. And that's. But the composure of the finish is brilliant, mate. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. He cannot be underestimated. He has just put himself on the world stage, and people are going to take note. Already on Sky Sports today, they haven't mentioned Villa throughout the whole of pre-season. There are 3 stories about him on the Sky Sports homepage. Like it's not that it's a pre-season friendly. It's that how many eyes are on you, and that's a world stage for a big European trophy. European Cup winners versus. Mate, gonna have to pause. Hold that thought because they're not the door. Sorry.
And there we're back. Sorry. If anything happened there, it's just we had to pause the recording. We were just waxing lyrical about Madjo, how good his finish was for that final for his goal.
Madjo man.
I'm not sure about that. I think that's got to be the Garnacho man, right? I was thinking, ho ho ho, it's Madjo.
Nice, yeah. I like that. Yeah. Mate, I am just beginning to become obsessed with this guy, and not in a weird way. Just that he's like.
I think you've got a picture of him on your bedside table. I think you've got a little picture of him in your wallet. Is it in the back of your phone case?
Yeah.
Is it your background on your phone? I think it should be your background on your phone.
Instantly after coming on the way back from the train, there was 4 photos on the Villa website, and I've downloaded them. I thought, right, that'll be content for tomorrow. If anyone checks my phone, I'm in trouble.
You've got underage as well, is it?
I'm not pictures of 17-year-old kids on my phone.
Yeah, God.
No, look, I just purely from a footballing perspective, like I've just got a really gut feeling about this guy that under Unai Emery, like we saw what he's done with Morgan Rogers. This guy's fresh, mate. But not only fresh, he's got all the attributes, and now it's just about application and whether he can kind of stay grounded and develop.
He looks hungry, doesn't he? He looks hungry, and it looks like the team's kind of like, taking a shine to him as well. Like he seems like a good guy. I just want to talk about John McGinn. Once again, I think the guy just keeps going up levels for me. Every time I see every season, I think as he tops out, he's just gone, mate, his deliveries yesterday were absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like I know he's got a wand of a foot, but like it was left foot, right foot. It doesn't matter. Like his deliveries were so good, and that's why it's so important him on that right hand side. As much as we want him in the middle, bombing, like kind of spinning players and coming up on the edge of the box and that kind of thing. His delivery was so good. All 3, so those 2 headers and that goal, all 3 of those delivers were pinpoint. Like absolutely brilliant. And I think like as much as like Madjo's movement was very good, if those crosses and those deliveries aren't bang on like they were, those chances don't happen. So hats off to John McGinn as well. And also, he got a bit feisty, didn't he? He was going off.
Yeah.
Was he saying it was a corner? No, it was a free kick in the corner, wasn't it? But he'd taken it.
I think he got frustrated because they did it a couple of times. Basically, they moved the ball forward or didn't take things from the right place. So John was like, not having that, and he was just being John McGinn, mate. And look, I think that's what I expect to see this season. John McGinn starting, absolutely kind of, getting everyone galvanised and going, and allowing Alisson to come on and run at defenders who are tired.
And this is what I was about to say. I think that's going to be. It looks like could potentially be the plan, right? You get them tired. And to be fair, I think we did start to push late on, and I think he put Alisson on because we all knew that PSG didn't have the fitness because they'd only played 2 preseason games, right? So as we played like 6, so those last 20 minutes was always going to be us pushing because we had the fitness. And mate, Alisson comes on. Oh my god. Like, literally, come on. The first thing he does, just like completely skips past there. Like as if their left back is not there. Like, I was literally like, that's unbelievable. And I tell you what, it's a brilliant block because otherwise that is goal.
Yeah, it's a great tackle, isn't it? I mean, Gomez was unlucky. I think that's a certain goal. Look, I think it's really encouraging second half. I thought we looked the better side in the second half that we created. And then, we make it.
Even after they brought on the Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah, well, exactly, mate. But again, as well as Brian Madjo, we have to talk about George Hemmings, mate, because I thought he showed a level of maturity yesterday that was way beyond his years. He looked great. Everything he did, he was composed on the ball. He wasn't intimidated by anyone. He was taking people on. He was defending. Like it was really good to see. And like you could argue, yesterday, did we really miss Rodgers and Tillemans? I don't
want to get carried away. Obviously,
no. I'm just
like we said, we are playing a team. Yeah, we're playing a not sharp PSG team. Even a not sharp PSG team, mate. Mate,
we're just talking about what we've seen yesterday. I'm not talking about things not talking about this is just looking at it retrospectively from last night's performance against that team.
But this is the thing though, is that and as much as I said, we looked at the team and I was like, ooh, we look a bit light and stuff. The point is I think we're looking light, or we're looking at it going, it looks weak because we're looking at for whatever reason, people are looking at the players coming in as direct replacements for the ones that have gone out, and basically going, well, João Gomez is the replacement for Tielemans. He can't do what Tielemans does, and we're like, yeah, but we don't need him to. We're changing the way we play. Rodgers gone out. Garnacho comes in. He's not going to do what Rodgers does. Again, no, he's a different kind of player. Maatsen, different to Digne, and it just looks like we've got this pace and power now, and this kind of like ability on the transition, reminded me so much of like 23-24, where we were just catching teams on the break and we were just bombing, and it was so good. I was so happy with that performance. I
think we said, didn't we, in the preview, that if we can just hold ourselves to a good account and match them, and what's interesting, the stat we beat them at, right, was distance covered. But we covered more distance, right? Yeah. So, mate, that for me is massively encouraging. I think, to basically outwork a PSG side who've got bags of quality, right? And, but other than the goal, their second half, apart from slightly towards the end when we'd push forward a little bit, right, they didn't really create much. We had the better chances.
We had more shots than them.
Yeah. And I just think it's massively encouraging because the problem is, right, we've got unknown entities that are coming in, like youth players that we don't know enough about, really, because we haven't started to know if they're good enough. But so you can only judge them on what they do when they play. And the fact they've been given opportunities suggests that, one, we can have a new way of playing. Like Alisson, when he came on, I say, Bailey ain't doing that and hasn't done that for 3 seasons, mate, going past players. That's what we need.
Right? I mean, basically, could have been 2 goals from him hitting the byline, crossing up. That one, mate, Maatsen. Carry on your run, mate. Why have you stopped?
He come into the middle, didn't he? He was like, mate, but I thought Maatsen, mate, had a brilliant game yesterday. I thought he was outstanding. Right? And I've said, I'm a fan of Maatsen because I've seen enough of him down at Villa Park to go, there's a player there. He has been a little bit shaky defensively, but he's got such great recovery, such great pace. And so you look at that, Digne never had that. Digne was an aging player, brilliant servant to the club, right? Wish him all the best. I haven't got a bad word to say about Luca Digne, but it's new blood. And whether we get this new player in from Atletico, right? I hope Maatsen gets a real opportunity this season and tries to cement that place, because on that performance, if he can do that consistently, then we've got another player on our hands that's good enough.
Well, the one thing also, the other thing that changes, because Tielemans was never the kind of player that was going to slot back into that left-hand side when Maatsen bombed on to try and defend that, whereas Gomez can. Yeah. He's got more about him, so it meant that when Maatsen was bombing on, he was allowed to bomb on because we could get someone over to help with cover. So this is again where we're saying that these players that come in aren't direct replacements doing the exact same thing as what the player that's gone did before. And yeah, I think you can pick out a lot of the team who just had a really good game. I thought Buendia once again looked very sharp. I thought Kamara did really well breaking up the play. Gomez was an absolute nuisance. He was everywhere. Yes.
Yeah, he was.
I just thought we were brilliant.
And they waxed lyrically about him, didn't they, in the commentary, saying that he's most tackles in European football. That's why he's been bought. And actually, but he offers so much more than that. Don't get me wrong, we had moments of sloppy bits of possession that we give the ball away a bit cheaply, right? And after they scored the first goal, they dominated. They kept the ball really well. But they're a great side. Whoever plays in that time, they are unbelievable.
Well, who was it? I think it was Alan McCoy, wasn't it? And I think he said at the end of the game, he said, in all the English teams that PSG have played over the past few years, Aston Villa have caused them the most problems. Aston Villa are the ones that have looked the most likely to beat them or to do something against them. And it's just something about that kind of team when we play them, when they come at us and they come onto us and they're at us like that we're able to raise our game. We're able to play how we want to play.
Well, and wherever you sit on it, right? Because there will be a selection of our fan base that will still be nervous about the season ahead, claiming that we haven't.
Well, like I said, there was someone in the Finalysis gave the average rating was 55, and someone else gave 65, and I think I gave an average rating of about 78 or something. I think it was mostly 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I think that's again. It depends what you're judging, right? I'm looking and I'll stick with this for the entire duration of my footballing life, mate, that work rate for me is most important. So the fact that we had that, you cannot come away as a Villa fan not being encouraged by that performance and thinking, actually, we may be okay this season, and Emery probably knows what he's doing. And we've got a mixture of youth there that you can rotate and try different things. We've now got suddenly options, and we're not going to be plan A, where we're just going to keep ball and kind of try and hit Rodgers to create chances. You've now got wingers that are going to go to the byline. So, you're going to need every player to work differently.
We talk about the squad because, even I thought he wasn't on for long, but I thought Barkley again. He's so good on the ball, and he's just such a calm head. And he was breaking up play, and he was holding. I thought he was just again great. It's brilliant to see, and I think also we're all buoyed by the fact that we're finally yes, we've got some youth. We've got some young players that are exciting, and the only thing and I don't want to bring it down, but the only thing that you always worry about is, yes, the world is watching, and they're going to have the most amazing season, and then along comes Chelsea or Man City. Oh, thank you. We'll have Brian Madjo. Yeah, great. Oh, cheers, guys. Right, brilliant. Thanks for your service.
Emery does it again, right? Oh, yeah. God. No, I think I said it in the warehouse yesterday. Just do one Chelsea.
Just not for sale. Just leave us alone.
Mate, just get the contract written now. There's a £7 billion release clause for
you can have Leon Bailey if you want him.
Yeah, he's definitely up for grabs.
Yeah, Leon Bailey's up for grabs, but you leave Brian Madjo the hell alone. Well, it's interesting because Chelsea were, I think, one of the other suitors who were looking at him right when we bought him. I think that they were the ones that were rumoured that he was going to be going to, and then we swooped in. It's exciting. I think it's all exciting because it's all potential. It's all unknown, and we've just started. This is giving us a glimpse of what could be.
And the thing is, when you speak about potential, right, it's all about bringing it out. And we've got, for me, arguably the best manager in the world to do that. And so, and people will critique that, but the proof's in the pudding, mate. And I think, he hasn't won the Super Cup yet, 4 times of asking, but there you go. It was I just think with Madjo's and Hemmings in particular, the maturity they've shown already for their first real proper first team before the start, I think it can only be a good thing. And Emery will just, we know what his methods are like, methodical. If they buy into that, we could, you're talking about young lads that probably haven't got a problem with working till their legs hurt. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got so much energy. Yeah. It's all whether they can get on the tactical side. But that, I think they proved that yesterday. I thought George Hemmings, he showed a level of maturity. Like I said at the start, I've not seen from him. Like he looked a little bit like in the performances I've seen him last season, he looked a little bit lost at times.
Yeah.
Right? And he looked a little bit out of his depth, but he didn't yesterday. Him and Madjo linked up brilliantly, and he was like
I think he's
doing that all his life.
I think he's bulked up a bit, and he's probably like a bit more confident in his body, and he feels like he can get at players, and he can hold off players.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. He almost looked taller than I remember him.
Yeah. He probably has, mate. He's only 19. Like he probably has had a growth spurt.
Yeah, but again, young, right? But still growing. But he was everywhere. In particularly first half, he was box to box. He was just creating, and they didn't like it. They couldn't handle it. They fouled him and all sorts. And there was a couple of times, and this is where the development things where he could, and it wasn't just him. There's a couple of times Madjo could have been played through early, and we held on, and didn't release the ball. And just thought, but that comes with playing together and getting to know each other a little bit better, I suppose, right? And even to the fact, the goal that we conceded, yes, it's disappointing because it's a Cash mistake, but it's pre-season and we're not sharp yet, properly. Cash hasn't played every pre-season game, but that's
you won't be sharp until about 5-6 games into the season.
Well,
you're just not.
And people will say, "Oh, well, PSG was sharp." Yeah, but you're talking about it's a different critique. They are. And they've got an in-depth, well-established team. We are now in a period of transition where we're getting used to each other, right? And although that defence has played together, he's just switched off. He's human, and that's going to happen. But you can't do that against the best teams in the world, regardless of when you play them, because they make those runs in the hope that you make that mistake, right? Yeah. And we actually stopped because at first I thought it was offside, but as soon as they showed the replay, I was like, he's
on. One thing I wanted to quickly touch on, because I think he's been getting a lot of stick, and I don't think it was justified, if I'm honest, because I think he's actually had a pretty good pre-season. I think I've seen some good performances from him. It's Marco Bizot. So I actually thought he made some really good saves yesterday. I think everyone's forgot the fact that he actually made some really good saves yesterday. But for the goal, in my opinion, you can always go to think of, would Martinez have saved that? Potentially, we don't know, right? But he has hit it so early and with so much power that I argue probably not. I don't think Bizot's done a lot wrong there.
Look, it's a great strike, and I would say maybe Martinez saves it because for some reason, and I don't know what, maybe he's thinking he's going to curl it to the far post.
Yeah, he's took a step to his left, hasn't he?
He's taken a step, and that's killed him because because how good the strike is, he can't recover. It's a harsh criticism, if I'm honest, but it needs to be there because ultimately those are the fine margins. If he doesn't take that step, and you're reading one of the best players in the world there, and he's always going to do that. He's going to make you think he's going to go that way, and he's going to drag it back. And I think Martinez probably reads that a little bit better and maybe saves it. Maybe. I'm not saying he does, but maybe because of his experience. And the second one, Martinez he's the king of one-on-ones, isn't he? And I think
it was a bit weird. I was like, what are you trying to do there?
If you look at Bizot, his arm's down by his side when he shoots. He doesn't come out like that. If he comes out like that, he maybe tips it round the post. And again, it's a harsh critique, but a better goalkeeper just makes him present.
We're comparing him. Yeah, like people talk about it and they'll compare and they'll say Emery. It's like Emery Martinez is top 3, top 4 goalkeepers in the world. Because you're comparing him with the absolute pinnacle.
Oh mate, look, again, this is the harshest critique because at the end of the day, it's one-on-one. Keepers shouldn't save one-on-ones against players like that. You're not expected to save it, so it's a harsh critique. I'm just, we've got to defend it better. It's a mistake, and we've been punished.
I mean, they said it in the commentary as well, and obviously you can't. It's difficult now, isn't it? Because there is the flag. So it's been flagged, and did he get flagged? No, he waits to do his flag, right?
Yeah,
but the players are running back. But the players that don't feel like we're committing to the run back, I'm like, run run back, like actually commit to it. You might have been able to put him off or get to it or whatever, but they were banking on the offside.
Well, I think and it's poor again. It shows that lack of sharpness and maybe inexperience, but the three of them do their job. And if Cash steps up, he's offside, and he doesn't. And so I think the way Torres is looking along the line, obviously he can't see Cash, and he's probably seen Lindelof and
and he's off.
Step up and gone. Oh, he's off for definite. Thinking Cash, our most experienced right back, probably has done it. And then you turn around, you go, and let's face it, Pau Torres, Lindelof, even if they run back full pelt, mate, they got no pace to catch.
No, but you put him off, right? Potentially, but who knows?
Maybe, but
yeah,
look, it's fine margins, and I think the most important thing is I didn't come away from the warehouse feeling disappointed. I was buzzing. I was really like excited about the season.
It's probably the best. Like the last time where we actually beat them over 90 minutes and came away and lost the tie. It's one of the best feelings I've had losing a game. Losing. Yeah. Like, I kind of came away going, I didn't feel like we'd lost. I was like, that was brilliant, because I think anyone who was watching that game will go, no one watching that game would have been looking at that going, oh, they're obviously the Europa League winners and they're obviously the Champions League winners. Like the gap wasn't that big. And like, I look at it now and I go, if we draw PSG, we've got every chance of beating them. Like, I'm just kind of sitting there going, yeah, I'm not worried.
Well, I think I've come away just thinking we've got something to be excited about. And if the development can keep happening under Unai Emery, then let's just see what happens, mate. And let's see how we start the season. But that's really encouraging. I think that's the most important thing to take away from it, is that there's players there that we were unsure of that could potentially step up and play a key part. So all of a sudden, maybe we're being forced our hand to use these youngsters, but if they're good enough, then they should play. And that's encouraging as well, because it puts us in a position where if they can do it and we can overachieve again and qualify for the Champions League, mate, like, we can start really building.
Now, we've lowered the wage bill, we've made some, all that kind of stuff. So we've managed to do that. It's now, can we achieve what we did last season, but with that reduction in the team, in the finances? I just want to quickly touch. So obviously, Ruggeri looks like that's happening. I think he was meant to have a medical yesterday, but I haven't heard anything since then. But it's supposed to be
announced. Like, it'll be announced in about 5 minutes' time when we come off the air. That's when.
As always. Yeah, it's probably announced now. We just haven't seen it. Yeah. And then obviously the other one doing the rounds is Wan-Bissaka.
Yes,
what's your feelings on this? Obviously, right back. Can he play left back as well, or is it just right back?
Yeah, I think he can play both. Ultimately, mate, it would not be bad cover for Cash, right? He's quick, and he was arguably one of West Ham's best players. We've picked Gomez up from Wolves. They've been relegated, and that looks to be a good signing. I wouldn't be set against it, whether it will happen or not. And if the price is right, then we do need cover. But and maybe Najalkovic will be sold. So let's see what happens. But it's all it's all speculation at the moment. There's nothing concrete.
It is. But it's we are in the crunch time of the window now. There's another 2 weeks or so to go, and things are going to start moving, I think, a little bit more. And then I think Palhinha, there's still stuff going on there potentially. Another holding mid. We do need a little bit of cover there because obviously Anana out. Bogue, honestly, the one downside of from yesterday that I thought Bogarde just looked miles off it again.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, mate, his first 2 touches when he came on, he controlled the ball, and he went about 300 metres in front of him. I was just like, whoa. Very sloppy on the ball again. And it's always been the criticism of him. It's just looked a bit lightweight, get caught on the ball. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's quite. Yeah, look, Palhinha, I don't know. He's going to have to have showdown talks with Ollie Watkins, aren't they? They're going to have to fight it out after what happened in January at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But I don't. Yeah, it's an interesting one, really, because lots of people singing his praise. And yesterday, De Zerbi was kind of saying, he's a great guy, and that he would have liked to have kept him. But obviously, he's at Bayern, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Whether we bring these players in, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks, and it would be nice to get it all done before we kick off the season against Brighton in a couple of weeks, because
or at least before Arsenal. Get it done early, basically.
I mean, and and I'm sure it will be, because that's the cut-off point, right? The Arsenal game, really, it's that's deadline.
Oh yeah, what we're on about, it's basically the end of the window. So yeah, of course, everything should be done by then.
But ideally, if you could get it done this week, those two, if it was those two, for instance, or those three players, if you get that done, then you get them in for Munch and Gladbach game, a couple of maybe some minutes under the game, and then you can get into
maybe a behind the doors, closed doors friendly as well between the start of the season. I mean,
exciting times, mate.
It's exciting because just like finally, I feel like we've got a bit of depth hopefully a bit of depth in the squad with some young, interesting talent. And it seems like they're at the level where it's not a case of, they'll come on for the last 10 minutes and just have a run out just to give them minutes. It's actually a case of, if we make those changes at 65, 70 minutes, they can cause problems, like as in they can genuinely do something and change the game, because that's what we kind of lacked a little bit, is like that depth in the squad where the changes will alter the game. It's more been just a case of, you make the changes because you need fresh legs and it gives them some minutes and rotates the team. And whereas it actually gives us another dimension, I think, which is why I'm very excited for it. Right, cool. That's probably about all we've got time for tonight. 9 p.m. If you are watching this and you made it half an hour through and you're somehow not subscribed, please do subscribe. And tonight we will be live at 9 p.m. with Luke from Up the Villa, Neil from the Liverpool McGrath, Ben from BM Talks Ball, and Sam Leonard from True Adventures. All four will be coming on this evening to discuss the new season, which will be interesting now, because obviously we've seen that game, and now I think some people's opinions potentially on what our expectations are for the season might be different, but also like the ones to watch, who do you think is going to be the biggest flop, all these kind of things we'll be discussing this evening. So as always, yes, if you are here and you're still here, please do let us know in the comments what you think. Please like, subscribe, and all those kind of things. Pop your post notifications on, all that malarkey. Gary, give us your final thoughts and sing us out, mate.
Final thoughts of this, mate. Absolute buzzing to be back at Villa Park yesterday. I went to the warehouse to watch the game.
Football's back, baby!
It's a special feeling walking to Villa Park, even though it is under construction at the moment, and the North Stand is mate.
How'd that look? Yeah, what was
so it's they're stripping the back of it, like, so the concrete's coming down at the back of it, so that it's halfway done.
Did you see anything on the inside? Is there any? Are they putting? I'm assuming they'll put something on the inside.
I couldn't really see because they've got fences up, and then obviously it was the eclipse. The sun was brighter than the world, right? And I thought I can't, and I did try and have a look, but there was a security guard, and he was like, move on to the next gate, pal. I was like, yeah, but I just want to. And there was a crane doing its job in the corner. But I think more concerned, they've got a big, massive hole to fill outside the whole end and down the back of the Doug. So they're obviously doing some height work or something. But they've got 2 weeks to get that sorted. Otherwise, mate, it's going to be chaos first time going the season, because you ain't going to. Yeah. I'm sure they'll be
losing people down there.
Yeah, people just falling down. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's going to be different, isn't it, at a reduced capacity? But there was a certain buzz about the game yesterday, which was really nice. And I think that first game against Arsenal is going to be electrifying, even with 37,000, mate, because it takes me back to the Championship days when we had 32,000, and that atmosphere with 32,000 people at Villa Park was unreal.
It's all the whole core. It's all hardcore. It's hardcore, just like everyone there is just like up for it.
So let's strip it back, and hopefully we can get it going. Either way, mate, buzzing about yesterday's performance, disappointed with the result not to bring the trophy home. That would have been the icing on the cake to top the performance. But yeah, lots to be encouraged by. Absolutely buzzing about Madjo and Hemmings. I think they're going to play an important part, and hopefully Lynch as well. He didn't get on yesterday, but I've been impressed with him in pre-season. So we've got some options, and yeah, I'm excited for tonight, mate, to talk about the season ahead. So we'll see you on the next one. And as always, every week we follow the boys in Claret and Blue.
Peace.